Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special meeting for June 27, 2016. Also, please rise for the pledge and remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This afternoon, we were informed that Wheeling's first police chief, Cy Corker's wife, passed away, Ellie. So in a moment of silence in her memory. Thank you. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Lang.
Here.
Trustee Kruger.
Present.
Trustee Brady.
Here.
Trustee Vogel.
Here.
Trustee Vito.
Here.
Trustee Papantos.
Present.
President Juris.
Here. Any changes to the agenda?
None this evening.
Okay. Proclamations, Crime Prevention Awards, Carolina Velazquez and Dimitra Soroyanis. Chief?
Thank you. Carolina, if you'd like to step up here, please. Tonight, we'd like to recognize two of our business associates who stopped the perpetration of a crime against one of our senior citizens, and I'd like to read a brief narrative of what it was. But the awards are to Dimitra Soroyanis.
Siri, come on, not Yanis. Yanis.
Yanis. And Carolina Velazquez. On April 18th, a gentleman named Herbert, a 92-year-old senior citizen, went to the MB Bank to cash a personal check made out in the amount of $2,400. MB Bank employees initially dealt with Herbert, and because of the withdrawal amount being unusually high, brought it to the attention of bank assistant Carolina. MB Bank employees spoke to Herbert, who told them that he had been approached by three subjects in the parking lot who offered to perform repair work on his vehicle for $240, to which he agreed. After a short period of time, Herbert was told that his vehicle was fixed, but that the repair costs went a little high, and now they were $2,400. Herbert didn't know what to do, so he made the check payable to himself and went into the bank to cash it to pay the three subjects. Both of our bank employees and fine associates immediately recognized this being a scam being perpetrated against one of our residents, and they contacted the Wheeling Police Department. Police officers responded to the scene. The three subjects were identified, detained, and subsequently arrested. As a result of the quick thinking and immediate actions taken by Dimitra and Carolina, Herbert did not suffer any financial loss or embarrassment. And I'd like to thank you for watching out for the citizens of Wheeling and for keeping it a great place to live.
Thank you, Carolina. Give our best to Dimitra, too. Great job. Citizens' concerns and comments.
There are none today.
Okay. Staff reports. Director Janik.
Thank you. I have a report on an issue that we have with IDOT projects. Staff has been aware, starting last week, that IDOT was threatening to stop work on projects that were funded by IDOT. This includes projects such as numerous projects in Wheeling where there's a cost share involved. As you know, we have our intersections, 3 intersections on Dundee Road, are cost share projects with IDOT, Community Boulevard, McHenry Road, and Elmhurst. And IDOT has now sent a letter on Friday. They sent a letter out to all the municipalities saying all of their projects will cease as of the end of day, June 30th. June 30th on Thursday, if there's not a budget passed by the state. So any funds, or if there's no budget that's passed, they will not continue their projects. Now, late this afternoon, I read that the governor said that there might be a deal in place, partial approval of the budget, maybe this week. Just warning you that it's possible that the construction at Elmhurst Road might cease on Thursday afternoon. I suspect, I would really hope that this wouldn't continue for an extended period of time. It's hard to believe that the state would allow all projects by IDOT. You can imagine how many municipalities and just residents would be affected by IDOT projects. It's interstates, local roads, everything like that. So I'm just warning you. Luckily, in some ways, we only have one project that started with construction. That's Elmhurst Road. Luckily, we don't have 3 projects or 4 projects that have begun construction. Now, outside the village, we have other projects that are funded by IDOT or partially funded by IDOT. Dundee Road east of us, as you know, is curb and overlay is happening there. The road has been ground and curb has been replaced, removed and replaced. That project would stop. Litcook Road, that project is not started. That is the widening. There's a bridge project that was supposed to start in the middle of July. That would be delayed as well. So just hope that there's a meeting of the minds in Springfield.
Thanks, Mark. Also, I was with Congressman Dolan, and he expressed that some of the other elected officials on the federal level are a little upset with this as well. You know, it's amazing how the monies are passed through Springfield, and these guys wake up one day because they don't have a budget. They can hold dollars that are given by the federal government or the FAA. You didn't even mention the airport runway that's being done, and that'll be at a halt as well. So this has created a big problem here, and after speaking with the congressman yesterday, he's going to see what he can do on spearheading some kind of legislation that get these things moving, because it does affect us. And just East Dundee Road, what about West Dundee Road, east of 53, which is all under construction right now? So we're in the middle of all this nightmare. But to have that runway not continued to get done, our projects here in town not continue to get done with dollars that they've received from the federal government, and they're holding because of a budget impasse. Deja vu all over again like last year. So I think something will get done, but I know on the federal level, there's a lot of elected officials who are not happy with what's going on here. So thanks for the update on that, Mark. John, I want to hit you real quick. Just to piggyback on that a little bit, yesterday we celebrated the 5-year anniversary, believe it or not, of the Korean Cultural Center. So why don't you do a little update on that?
Thank you, President Argyros. Yes, I was fortunate to be invited as a guest of the Korean Cultural Center for their 5th anniversary. Obviously, President Argyros was there, our village manager, John Sfondilis, myself, the police chief, Jamie Dunn, Keith McIsaac, Drew Garcia. We really had a good showing for the village. Obviously, we all went to South Korea with a delegation in October and wanted to show our support. They've been a great partner to the village. We've actually been able to attract some companies from Korea, through that delegation. And there was about 300 people in attendance, and a lot of entertainment and music, and really enjoy going to that. It's they're terrific people and a great partner, as I said. So anything you'd like to add? That was kind of my take on it. It was a great night and good weather and a lot of elected officials. I didn't mention all the other trustees, forgive me, that also attended up. Trustee Papantos and Ray Lang, Trustee Lang. So we had a really good showing.
It was a real good showing, and you know what? That's an organization that really makes you feel like family. I'll tell you. You go there and open arms. They're happy to see you, and they just do anything for you. They're just great, lovely people across the board. So thanks for that, and we wish them many more years of being here in our community. And we end up meeting the new Consul General Lee, which was a pleasure, and a nice gentleman that we met, and we're going to get together and do some correspondence back and forth regarding some business opportunities as well. So
they have a huge reach. The Consul General from Ethiopia was in attendance. We were trying to be introduced to him, and subsequently were. So had a very big crowd, and it's always a great event. So thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, new business, 13A.
13A, resolution authorizing the village president to execute settlement agreements for Fox Point.
Thank you. Village Attorney Ferrullo.
Thank you, President Argyros. The agreements before the board this evening relate to the Fox Point Mobile Home Park. As you all will recall, in April of 2013, Cook County experienced severe storms and severe flooding, which impacted Fox Point. The storms resulted in severe damage to the vast majority of units in the mobile home park, which contained an older stock of mobile home housing to begin with. The storms were so bad and the flooding was so bad that President Obama declared Cook County a disaster area due to the 2013 flood event, which released federal money to assist residents with relocation. The residents at that time of the flood were displaced temporarily to shelter at the Wheeling Park District, which was run by the Village of Wheeling's Human Services Department. When the waters receded, our staff conducted inspections of the units in order to determine whether or not there were violations creating human health and safety concerns. They found multiple violations in almost every one of those units. Certain homes were declared uninhabitable, other homes required significant repair, which for the most part could not be done due to the age of the units and the status of the units as a legal nonconforming use. Each violation was affirmed through the village's administrative hearing process here at the Village Hall. Lawsuits were filed at that time by the residents related to the inspections. During the pendency of the lawsuits, the village staff became aware of the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Aid that became available to assist with relocation and the clearance of the Fox Point land. The purpose of this federal money is to remove residents from danger and get them out of flood-prone areas. With the board's direction, the staff successfully pursued this block grant money, and if you recall, back in October, the village board approved an agreement with Cook County where Wheeling agreed to act as the lead agency in a subrecipient agreement in administering this federal grant money to assist the residents with the hardship that they were facing. One of the conditions for the administration of the program was that all of the lawsuits would have to be dismissed through settlement agreements. Before you this evening are the settlement agreements that were required. We have obtained the signature of the ownership, the Alpine Ownership Group, who will be selling the land, and the land will be purchased with the federal money. We've obtained signatures of about 20% of the plaintiffs. We expect the remainder of the signatures to be submitted by June 30th, pursuant to the federal judge's recent order. The village will not be executing any of these settlement agreements until all of the plaintiffs have signed. Once that's done, we can then start the relocation program, which will involve assisting the residents with the federal money. The amount of money for each resident will be different based on a calculation, depending on the number of people in the family, et cetera. We will then begin our program of doing due diligence on the land so that we can enter a land purchase contract. And again, this will provide, I think, much needed funding through the federal government to assist the residents to be relocated from this flood-prone area. And once that's all done and the residents are relocated, the land will be cleared and there'll be a covenant on the land which states that it cannot be redeveloped. The village will be the owner of the land, but the land will have to remain open space per the federal grant requirements. So that is a summary of the details of the program. This is one of the final pieces to the puzzle in follow-up to the October 2015 Cook County agreement that you approved.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Trustee Lang?
When you say that the land cannot be developed, it can be improved upon. Is that correct? It can be...
depends on what you mean by improved. It can't be built on. We can't put structures on the land. It's going to be open space. I'm sure it can be approved with retention basins to assist in the flood mitigation. But the purpose of this program, again, is to get residents out of flood-prone areas,
right,
and to provide flood mitigation tools.
I guess what I'm asking for is improved open space, meaning plantings and trees and such that can be placed there.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Trustee Vito?
Jim, if If there's a holdout plaintiff, is that going to be an issue?
Yes,
It'll blow the whole deal?
it will.
Do we have any?
We don't expect that because we were in federal court about 2 weeks ago, and the federal judge went through the agreement with some representatives of the plaintiffs and made it very clear that this was a very solid settlement agreement. It provides much-needed funding, and in fact, the federal judge issued an order which indicated that the plaintiffs should sign the agreement by June 30th. So hopefully we don't run into that problem, but part of the purpose of this is to end everything in terms of the lawsuits and bring in the much-needed money. The village, well, the village will not be providing funding for this program. The village will have to provide a great deal of staff time to administer the program, and staff is very willing to do this, has done this, but to do that without finality on all of the lawsuits, the county won't even allow that to go forward. The county has demanded that the lawsuits be resolved.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Trustee Papantos?
Do we have a time frame for the relocation if everything is signed off by the 30th?
Very difficult to give you an exact time frame. There is no deadline. We would be moving quickly. Our first step would be to hire a relocation specialist with the federal money. The relocation specialist will be meeting with the homeowners to assist them in locating new homes. Outside time frame, Trustee Papantos, I could not give you at this time.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Who's following through on the court order? Is their attorney going to the residents that need to sign?
Their attorney is doing it in terms of getting the settlement agreement signed. That's what's happening. We've had residents come in on their own,
Okay.
bringing in signed papers. So it's a combination of both.
Okay. Clock's ticking. Thursday. Okay. If there aren't any other questions, I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Vogel,
Second.
second by Trustee Lang. Roll call.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes, I just want to make a comment to staff. Nice job on this. Great job. And your firm too, Jim.
Thank you.
A lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of patience. And it's nice to see that these folks are going to get a good home to go to, and we take an area there that's had issues and clean it up where it benefits all the residents of all the entire community. So thanks for all your hard work on that. 13B.
Resolution authorizing change order number 1 to the construction contract with Schroeder Asphalt Services Incorporated for the 2016 motor fuel tax street improvement program.
Director Janik.
Thank you. This change order it is relative to a construction project that we have ongoing right now in the village. This is for motor fuel tax funds. Now, the first thing is that even though these motor fuel taxes come from the state of Illinois, because these funds are provided to the municipalities or set aside for them before the start of the construction projects, these will not be affected by the IDOT or the issues relative to the state budget. Next year they could be, but for this coming year, there's no issue relative to funding. Anyway, we currently have work being done on the East Chester subdivision, Seton Court, and the industrial courts on Wheeling Road. What this request is, this is not a request from the contractor, this is a request from staff. Typically when we estimate curbing, we do it in the wintertime. And we have been successful in the estimation of the curb during the wintertime. Sometimes we have snow on the roads, that sort of thing, and it's not an exact science during that period of time. We got into the subdivision, East Chester in particular, but also Seton Court and some of the other courts on Wheeling Road, and there was more curb that we determined should be taken out than was estimated. The curb probably, absolutely was an emergency, but we felt that since we probably weren't coming back to these subdivisions in a long period of time, the right thing to do would be to take out more curb to make the subdivision look, or the courts and the subdivision look and operate as well as they can. So this request is really a staff request, has nothing to do with base material or anything like that. We just think that more curb needs to be done in these areas than we estimated. We do have funds in the motor fuel taxes. The bid that came in from Schroeder was lower than what we had budgeted. So we do have funds in the motor fuel tax fund, as well as some other funds, as you can see in the capital improvement fund, or capital improvement fund. So we can fund this without changing our budget relative to this year.
Thank you, Mark. Questions?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Brady, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Argyros.
Yes. 13C.
Presentation regarding the 2015-2016 strategic plan progress and status.
Thank you. Manager Svendelis.
Thank you. Approximately 18 months ago, the board and staff met to talk about a strategic plan. Shortly thereafter, the board approved what eventually became the official strategic plan that has been around now, as I said, for 18 months. And every 6 months or so, we are coming back to you with brief updates on exactly how the goals associated with each of the themes are progressing. We created the boards that you see in the room that normally are housed just out in the hallway there, so that the public always has an opportunity to see what the board created as the themes for the significant projects that you would like to see within the community and the goals associated with them. As each of the goals are accomplished, we have a visible reminder of that by putting check marks next to each of the goals. The blue circular symbol that looks like the recycling symbol indicates that it is an ongoing goal. As I said, this is the third update that is all written out and available to the public. It will be uploaded to the website tomorrow, as the other two have, so the public can see the detail on each of the projects, which I'm not going to go through tonight. The important thing, though, is to see that almost every one of the goals has something next to it, which means that it is a step in the right direction towards accomplishment. We will be addressing the strategic plan again in January on a larger scale than any of these updates have been. It is in total a 4-year plan, the strategic plan, with a planned 2-year reassessment of the goals. So you'll see that there are 6 color-coded sections. Each one of those are themes. Each theme then has any variety of goals associated with them. In January, what we will do is look at the goals that were accomplished and talk about, is there anything new that needs to be added to each of the 6 themes. 2 years after that, we will deconstruct the whole process and start over again with looking at the 6 themes to see if those still fit. So the idea is that it takes enough time to identify the goals, accomplish the goals, but still stick to the same 6 basic themes. In another 2 years, you may say that some of those themes need to be repeated, and that's fine. But in January, we're going to look at goals associated with the same themes. I'm very proud that most of the goals are well underway. There are only 4 items on those 2 boards that do not have either an identifying check mark that says that the project has been complete, or a recycling sign that says that it's an ongoing project. And that's because those projects are underway but are accomplishable. For example, in residential life, one of the goals is to seek to increase neighborhood engagement, awareness, and pride. We've been talking about this for quite some time with regard to neighborhood mapping and neighborhood signage. That is not completed, therefore it doesn't have a check mark, but that is in an ongoing to finality project. So we expect that we will see designs. In fact, the Plan Commission just last week heard a presentation about neighborhood signs so that they can make some of the decisions that need to be finalized in order for us to install those signs. Under financial strength, there is one of the goals that you'll see, the green section, is create a multi-year property tax levy plan. Staff is very excited to do this. The challenge there, of course, is that we can't do it until the state has, well, a budget. So they are impeding our ability to do the right thing and create some long-term planning for our tax levy. And like I said, we are prepared to do it. We just need some assistance from the state, creating some kind of continuity that we can use as a metric in order to create a tax levy plan. The third of the 4 remaining items, create an analytical, that one actually is in motion. Create an analytical service needs-based staffing model for all departments. That is something we talk about on our end all the time as far as reevaluating positions as they become available. Again, that is something that really is an ongoing effort more than an accomplishable one. But since I had it circled, I figured I'd just follow through with that. The last one, develop a plan to address Dundee and Northgate Parkway intersection congestion. This is all happening as part of the town center improvement. There are specific plans associated with this goal, but all of those plans are dependent on the beginning of the construction phase next door and a lot of the traffic study information that is going to come as part of that construction. So we expect that by January we will probably have more information in this regard, but this may be one goal project that you choose to put on for the second phase of our strategic plan come January. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I would like to acknowledge all of staff and the effort that goes into not only completing the projects, but also staying true to the strategic plan itself. Not only is there a lot of effort in completing the projects, but staying on top of these updates. There's a lot of information that needs to go in there, and that all happens under the direction of Assistant Village Manager Karate. He manages this project along, obviously, with all the department heads that have a hand in executing all of the goals. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, the public will have the opportunity to see this starting tomorrow when it is uploaded to the website.
Thank you. Trustee Lang?
Thank you. More of a comment. You know, John, we've had strategic plans in the past that have come and gone, and you delivered as promised. You and your staff have followed up on this, and it's where it is ongoing. It truly is ongoing. We are working on it, and you have a plan to complete this strategic plan, and it's excellent because, like I said, many times in the past, we've done things like this, and then it's just, okay, great idea, and then it's dropped. So I appreciate you and your staff's efforts on this because it's very important.
Thank you.
And it shows. Thank you.
Trustee Brady, anything?
I'm excited. You know, it is nice to have a plan that we worked on and it just didn't get put on the shelf. It's still there, it's dusted off, we're talking about it, and things are getting done. You know, there's only one. If I had any questions, it'd be what's happening with the town center, but that's only one. You know, are we going to see any activity on that this year?
I can answer that question, and Director Malanaphy, if I fall short, please fill in the blanks. They are in the middle of final PUD, which they need to come before the board for. They are working on their engineering plans. Simultaneous to that, we are working along with the developer and West Shore to finalize engineering to start the first step in construction, which is relocating that pipeline. We do expect that those designs will be finished, this year, and hopefully there is a shovel in the ground for either that or some of the earthwork that can be done on the project come fall. Before any of that can happen, though, they, the developer, need to come back to you for final PUD approval. However, we did have a major milestone accomplishment last week with the Park District, thank you, approving the easements that are required, the utility easements that are required, and with that being finalized, that helps engineering along on the developer's side. So they are on schedule. They, the developer, are on schedule with coming back to us for final PUD as promised.
All the barricades are going away, that's good.
And the new sign's getting up too.
The new sign is actually constructed or almost constructed and will probably be up within a week.
Thank you. Trustee Krueger?
Yes, thank you. I'm a list maker by trade, so I'm all in on strategic plans and ways to make check marks and mark things off. I would ask, can you give us at all an update on the under residential life foster working partnerships with school officials?
Sure. I think on two different fronts, the village president and I meet with our counterparts to try and, I think the goal here is open communication. Certainly myself and Superintendent Highland have that, and we are trying to work on any projects that we can partner on together, as well as talk about the bigger picture of the school's relationship to the community. I think the biggest accomplishment in that regard is the crossing guard agreement that was signed, where we are partnering together to actually outsource the service. Before, that was a responsibility just of the village that served, of course, the community, but directly the schools themselves. We worked together on getting past all of the constraints, most of those being perception on what it would be like to outsource that service, since all of the crossing guards are currently Wheeling residents, and of course, their charge is the protection of Wheeling residents, the kids. So that was I don't want to say effortless, because it did take a lot of work. However, we were equal partners in coming to a common solution. So I think that's a good example of how we're trying to build a bridge, as it were, because we all serve the same constituents, and we need to not be so siloed in our responsibilities and work together in any way we can.
Well, the reason I bring it up is that, we've all participated in joint meetings with the Plan Commission and joint meetings with the airport and joint meetings with the Park District, and I would thoroughly welcome a joint meeting with, so that we could all get together at the table.
I'll defer to the village president.
And to be honest with you, Mary, we're trying. We really are. And we did something different this year, where we had the entire community do an open house together jointly, as we all enjoyed over at Chevy Chase in February, I believe it was.
Yeah, that was great.
I think our working together with the schools is very important. And a lot of it, and it doesn't to me point fingers or anything else like that, but constructive criticism. How can we always make ourselves better? It's been our motto up here. How do we make ourselves look better? You know what? I listen. You guys all listen. We bring ideas back to the manager. We work with our staff. And, what can we do to be better? The Korean Cultural Center we mentioned earlier today. I mean, good example of a good cooperative with an organization within our community working with undeserving kids that need extra help, that don't have the means to have that. Greg Crocker has been monumental with that. When we enjoyed his company yesterday at the Korean Cultural Center. And he was so excited, and he walked in there like, the principal of the year. I mean, they were so happy to see him. So we need to continue with those things. Working with District 214, whether it be through our manufacturing outlets that we've created with economic development, giving those opportunities for students, promoting readiness that the school is promoting nationwide, the district is promoting nationwide, and getting on board with that and helping with that. Again, with District 21, not to make it political, good example was the crossing guards. And I made it specifically clear with John, this is not going to be a political nightmare like our neighbors had. Front page news. We're going to sit down like human beings, work something out that's fair for everybody, and move forward. And we're continuing to do that. Do we knock sometimes? Yeah. But you want to know something? You all know me as well, too. I say things, I get upset, and I let it out. They come to my office, not on camera, they get upset, they let it out, we move on, we do breakfast, we do lunch, and we move forward. How do we make ourselves better? And that I will continue to do, and always do. Fight for the best for our students here in this community, and for the district, because it affects all of us. And doing whatever we can to create those partnerships and make them stronger. Again, thank you for the Park District, And there's a lot of things that they needed to see and get done, and they did, and I thank you all for that, so we can get to that next level with this town center. And working together, enjoying the company of going to the Park District, you and I, on Saturday with the wine tasting thing that they had. It was wonderful to see all those people there, and really being proud it was in our community. These are good things that we're trying to do. Those are good partnerships, and we need to continue doing that. We have to continue to do that because it's not just the Village of Wheeling. The Village of Wheeling is everybody, every single taxing body in this community.
That's right.
You know what? And we owe it to our residents. We owe it to our businesses.
The lesson learned too is don't give up.
Oh, you never give up.
It's always
You
for a
shouldn't
good
give up.
cause.
You shouldn't wash your hands to anything. You know what? Again, it's constructive. I'm not always right. I'm not always right. Prove me wrong, and let's move on from there. And John and I have done that for the last 3 years since I've been sitting here. We prove each other right or wrong, and we move forward. What's best for the community, what's best for the sport, so they have a good direction of moving forward with things that we want to do. We're continuing to do that. We're building bridges. I don't want to burn them down. I want to build bridges. And I think we're doing it. I really do.
John, thank you, and to your staff. And just a note on the financial strength, the second item, the service needs. It says on hold, but before you post it, will you change that to ongoing? Because you guys are always looking at your staff and looking for efficiencies.
I was just going to mention that.
Sure. So,
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
Trustee Vito?
Nothing in particular. Well, other than the bikeway signage and pedestrian signage, is there any way we can look into maybe linking the Prospect Heights bike path to Heritage Park along the railroad, maybe? Would that be possible? I think that would bring a lot of traffic, and then it's easily hooked into the Des Plaines River Trail, but I just saw the signage there.
Brooke, do you have anything to add to that?
Last Thursday at the Plan Commission meeting, the Plan Commission suggested that the Prospect Heights Bike Trail be connected to the town center. And so we were thinking about placing a sign on Wheeling Road North that would connect in to get them towards the town center and also to Heritage Park. But we can definitely work on other opportunities.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can. There's definitely sidewalks that go that way, but
Sure.
it'd be nice. I mean, obviously, if it's economically feasible, but other than that, I mean, just reading through this report, there's so much good stuff going on, and really proud of the staff for keeping at it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Papantos?
Yeah, it's a great report, thank you. And I would just like an update on our vacant properties and the town center marketing. How are we going on that? I realize it's an ongoing project. Is anything new happening?
Thank you, Trustee Papantos. We had some very productive meetings at the ICSC Shopping Center Convention. It's the largest convention in the world for that leasing activity. You know, our vacancy rates are very low in consideration of some of our neighbors and where we were at during the historic highs during the recession. But obviously, we occupied all the space out in front of the Westin that had been vacant for many years since it was built. You know, in terms of industrial, we were able to recycle Richelieu Foods, which is about 115,000 square feet. We had some pretty productive meetings on the Kmart site. We think that with the town center, that will be a catalyst to promote additional development and redevelopment in the Dundee Road corridor. The town center, they have a new leasing company, Newmark Knight, Grubb and Frank, and they are very aggressive. I know some of their principals, and they had some really good meetings with several fast casual restaurants, the ice cream, yogurt variety, coffee shops, and they already have several LOIs, which you're all aware of. But you know, they really want to see this get through final PUD, get the pipeline relocated, and that it's for real. There's a lot of interest in the project, and I feel very confident that if we get a shovel in the ground this fall, that we're going to reach you know, the occupancy benchmarks that are required for them to build the project.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Vogel?
Yeah, I'm really happy that we finished this up, and like you said, like Trustee Brady said, you go through this work and come up with these ideas and lay out a plan, and then it just kind of dies. And again, compliment John and staff for following through and staying on top of it. It's tedious at times. It's long-term, definitely. Thank God you guys got the patience, because I don't. I'd never never wait this long for this to happen. So keep it up, and looking forward to next couple of years. Seen a lot of activity in all these areas. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. 35 items on the list in front of us today. Out of those 35 items, 7 of them are complete. You have 3 on hold, but actually it's actually 2, because it was brought up earlier. You're always looking to restructuring staff and how do we become more efficient. So I'll take the on hold and put it to ongoing. So there's 26 items that are ongoing, working hard today. Not just ongoing to write it, working on it. So that's a first. Like Trustee Brady said, we've been in many strategic plans, and you're right, sat on the shelf. It was clear that this board wanted action and to work to get things done. And there's 35 items in here that I really, and 2 of them I would say because of the budget impasse, we're not even looking at right now until they figure out what they're doing in Springfield. So this is monumental. In 18 months, that we've accomplished this much and continue to do it. And not to include some other ideas that have come after the strategic plan that are already done, completed. So that's another list. But this is all good stuff. The only thing I will ask Director Janik is how are we doing on the streetlight program with the Northwest Municipal Conference STP grant for west of the railroad tracks to continue with the theme of the streetlights going to our borders to Buffalo Grove?
We just received a report from the consultant last week relative to obtaining easements and property for a few of the streetlights that don't have, we don't have room to put them. And they needed something from us to show us what they needed, and we told them to go ahead with it.
Okay.
So they are working with IDOT to acquire wherever land they need for the streetlights. Now, there's not very many of them, but it is holding up the project from going forward this year because this land was needed.
Okay, so that's ongoing. We're working on it.
Definitely ongoing working on it.
And there's a good example of something that's not on the list that we talked about that we're doing, just like we did here east of the tracks. So good job, and stay on that, and work with the Northwest Municipal Conference, and let's get that grant going as well. Anything else? Good, John. Thanks. Oh, this is good. 13D.
Discussion regarding the updated slogan for the Village of Wheeling.
John, go ahead.
Thank you. Building on a theme, one of the goals that the board identified was to take a look at our slogan, our community slogan, which is currently a community of choice. You'll see that that's printed. It's on our website. It's on all of our entrance signs. And it's important for a municipality to have some identifying motto, slogan. We've had a community of choice for a number of years. And in order to decide whether you'd like to update it or not, we had a social media campaign. We sent out blast emails. We asked the public, the community, to participate. And over several months, we received a total of 134 different entries as potential village slogans. And Luca, if you could put the slide up. Out of 134, because we couldn't talk about all 134 of them, I asked staff to look at the list and just highlight the ones that they thought made the most sense. For the public, the board did receive all 134 of them, and these are I believe there's 8 that made the final cut, as it were. Obviously, if there's a board member that would like to add to this list, we can. I would like to say, as we look at these and before we get into them, we don't have to come to a decision tonight, so there's no pressure. This is just a discussion item, and if you would like, it can be step 1 of more if there's not something that jumps out at you. Otherwise, obviously, as soon as you find something that you feel fits the community, we can vote on it and then put it into use. As you know, we are working on finalizing a brand new website that is nearly complete and hopefully will be live by the end of July. That is the goal. This would then make its debut on the website. And then as we talk further about village entrance signs, not neighborhood entrance signs, but village entrance signs, that would be a feature, whatever you choose, on the new entrance sign as well. So I guess we can just open it up for discussion. These are not in any order, and again, you have the full list of 134, and I would like to thank everyone who submitted to the campaign. We received dozens of emails. There's 134 entries, but for the most part, anybody who sent in one probably sent in 10, which is good. That means they put a lot of thought into it, and they care. So, and I think all 134 of them are good. These were the best 8, but I think all 134 were good. So with that, Mr. President Argyros.
Trustee Kruger, let me start with you.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah, really.
Well, I liked Pride, Progress, and Partnership, but I would suggest that Progress would be last. I don't know why I think that flows better, Pride, Partnership, and Progress, because with those two, you get progress. That was really the only comment that I had on changing one of the ones that are in the running, but I like revolving around the community a lot. Kind of goes with the wheel, and it has that theme about it, and that one would be my favorite if you're asking me to pick.
If I may, I should have said as part of my introduction, one of the challenges of this process is coming up with something that represents the community as a whole. And it's a difficult process because you don't want something that specifically works for businesses versus specifically works for the residents. And so I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just saying that some of these tend to lean one way or the other. And I think I tried to address in my memo some things to consider when you're kind of branding. This is really building on the brand of Wheeling. So I just wanted to mention that as you kind of led into it with your comments. Thank you.
So the one you like is?
The one I like is revolving around community.
Okay. Trustee Papantos?
I'm afraid we're going to have 7 people can pick 7 different. Nothing really jumped out at me, but the one that I personally liked the best was tradition, innovation, progress, because I think it talks about our community as a whole, that we haven't lost the old, but we are moving forward, and we have been innovative, but nothing stood up and jumped up and down and said, this is it, and it's the only one. But I'm afraid we're going to have 7 different choices here.
We'll see. Okay, thanks, man. Trustee Vogel.
I like the Pride, Progress, and Partnership for a couple of reasons. I think, especially up here on this dais, I always take great pride in the village of Wheeling. We've made a lot of progress over the last 15, 20 years. And what Trustee Kruger said is we've done it through partnerships, not only with other governmental bodies in the municipality here, but also with the Korean connection and the connections that Dean has made with the Northwest Municipal Conference, getting on all those councils, transportation, et cetera. And then also, it seems like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we never saw a state rep here, and now they're here all the time. So I think that says something for Wheeling, and it says something about the progress we're making. So I just, the 3 of those together, however they're listed, I could go along with Pride, Partnership, and Progress also, but I think that's the best one that I like the most.
Thank you. Trustee Brady?
I read through this whole list when I was sitting here a few minutes ago, and Pride and Progress and the wheels are rolling and all this stuff. One thing kind of struck a chord though. Welcome to Wheeling. Welcome home. Just those words, welcome home. That could be for residents, it could be for business. It's a warm feeling to call this place home. Now, we could go through all these catchy phrases and everything else, but what are we really getting out of it? That we're progressive? Well, you know what? If you're a businessman, you'll know that. If you're driving through town, what do they care about what businesses we've got? But when you hear welcome home, when you guys go on vacation, you come home, you get into town, everybody says, welcome home. You get a feeling about it. And that, to me, welcome home would be the best phrase we could put in our signs.
Go ahead.
If I may, the only reason it didn't make the list is that's fairly common.
Well, welcome to Wheeling would be a common, but just welcome home, not welcome to Wheeling, just welcome home.
Just pointing out why it wasn't on the list.
Okay.
So number 55 would be your choice, Ken?
That's 4.
Number 55 would be your choice?
55?
Yeah, number 55, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe.
Okay. Trustee Lang?
Well, the descriptors are all good, tradition, progress, partnership and all that, but that gets kind of wordy in a way when Trustee Kruger kind of hit it with the revolving around community. It's kind of simple, a simple phrase. I like revolves around community better than revolving, just me, but I think it's just a simple phrase and it means a lot. It has to play off the wheel like she was saying and just a good descriptor.
Okay. So you like 6? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Trustee Vito?
Yeah, I like revolving around community. That's my top pick. Just was surprised that there was 140 entries, and only 2 of them were sarcastic. And the best one was...
That could be a whole new campaign. I'm happy to do that if you'd like.
What was the best one?
The best one was Wheeling Now with more Prospect Heights. I'm sure Mayor Helmer will not find that as funny as we do.
Rodney Pace put that one in.
Yeah. But yeah, I like revolving around community. I'd like to leave it revolving as opposed to revolves. I don't know, the present participle, if we're going to start being grammatical about it, sounds a little bit better.
Okay.
Excuse me, English major.
Yes, I was. Thank you.
I was going to suggest Martin write an entire dissertation on the difference between the two.
You could do it.
I'd like to get your input. You're part of the board.
I like revolving around community.
Well, to be honest, my first choice was that because it was simple. And my second was the Pride, Partnership, and Progress, or vice versa, move it around. But I think thinking about it was to keep it simple and not too wordy. And we are revolving around our community. And everybody's part of this community. So right now, it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1,
For that.
2, 3, 4.
I got Mary Kay, Ray Lang, Joe, yourself, Elaine, and myself.
I'll go with that too,
And Brady?
as long as,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my second choice.
You could put a welcome home
So I
at
think
your
it's,
house.
I think it's, I think it's all unanimous. I think
Thank
it's
you.
unanimous.
I'm glad that we did come to a resolution tonight, and I think that's a slogan that represents us
Another
well.
ongoing is now complete, so
That's
we
right.
changed the number to 8.
There will be. Well, I have to admit, the red check mark's already on the board for this one. Because we did our part, now you just had to vote.
Good job, thanks, guys. I like the tone of that. It's good. Revolving around the community. It's good. Thanks. Official communication. Trustee Lang.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Trustee Papantos.
I just wanted to offer my congratulations to the Korean Cultural Center. It was a very lovely evening last night, and thank them. And thank the Park District for getting that easement done and so that we can move forward. Thank you for the great work.
Thank you, Mary. Trustee Brady.
looking forward to the 3rd of July. Nothing else, thank you.
Trustee Vogel.
Just congratulations to Carolina Dimitri, and thank you for being alert and helpful with the seniors. Also, maybe it's a little early, but we've had discussions. We will be holding the second community breakfast in November. So we'll have the final date in another month or so, but just keep it in mind. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Trustee Vito?
Yeah, thank the Park District for getting that easement done, and for a couple great events this week. On Thursday night, they had a movie at Heritage Park. Probably, 150 people there. It was great. Kids loved it, movie in the park. And then on Saturday, they had the Beer and Wine Fest, which was really nice. and I spent the day at the pool on Sunday. So it was a Park District filled weekend. You guys are doing a great job over there, and it's really an active hub in the summer. It's pretty cool to be over there. So thank you for everything you've done, and looking forward to the July 3rd celebration as well. See everybody there.
Thanks, Joe. Trustee Kruger.
Thank you. I'm going to extend my gratitude to the Park District too for that wine and craft beer festival. Was really nice on Saturday, and for the approval of the easements. That's part of the progress, and that's just amazing. So thank you. And I'm looking forward to July 3rd. That's it.
Thanks. Clerk Simpson.
Okay, I just want to remind everybody, if they want more information for July 3rd, the event schedule, the gates open at 5 o'clock, and if you want further information, to go to www.rockrunthorunway.com and get everything that you need.
Thanks. Manager Svendos.
Thank you. I guess piggyback on everyone's positive comments for this weekend and the Rock and Run the Runway. Cross your fingers. My weather app says that we should have a sunny, not too warm, kind of perfect day. So hopefully that sticks. As the clerk and the rest said, we have a fun-filled evening for you. 2 great bands, 9 wonderful food trucks. We've added wine to the roster this year of adult beverages. We've added a standalone water station for those that had to stand in line last year at the food trucks just to get a bottle of water, receiving some help from the Wheeling Prospect Heights Chamber of Commerce on that. We're really looking forward to a good day. We've made some improvements off of last year's event, mostly with parking. As the clerk said, please go to rockandrunthorunway.com. You'll see a new map, all the information you could want. Also on our Facebook, on our website, it's everywhere. So hope to see everyone there.
Real quick, on the run itself, what do we have registered so far? Do you know, Ray?
Last check, 255, which is generally with the runs, they come in real hot and heavy the last week because people are checking out the weather.
Right.
And they want to make sure it's not too hot or it's not going to rain.
So we need runners out there.
We do, and we are optimistic that we're going to get close to what we had last year, 457. If not surpass that, we have a cap at 500.
Good. That'd be fun. Sorry.
One other item. Last week, the village board, almost in its entirety, and myself and Attorney Ferrolo attended the Northwest Municipal Conference Gala. Normally, I wouldn't really be reporting on that, but to say that part of what the conference does for their own fundraising is they've instituted a thing called the Communicopia Award. And that started last year, and the idea is that each municipality creates or builds a basket of things that represent their community. And at the beginning of the gala, the basket is then auctioned off for anyone in attendance to bid on. Not only did our basket receive the highest value, we also won the Communicopia Award, stealing the crown from Hoffman Estates. And really putting everyone else to shame. It really, it was something to behold. And if the screen were larger, I would show you a photo of what our basket looked like. But unfortunately, it's not quite big enough. My thanks, obviously, to staff, in particular our Economic Development Department, and the village president who reached out to our business community and to them specifically. That really is a reflection on the participation of the community in representing us in such a public forum. It was great to have a number of different items inside that basket, and then the box that came with the basket and the wheelbarrow that accompanied all of that. It was really something. It really represented the village of Wheeling well, and that was expressed by the popular vote that the village received from all the other municipalities voting us the best show, the best in show. We are currently having our trophy engraved. That will be displayed in Village Hall I'm very proud of that. During that meeting, Village President Argyris was also sworn in to be the vice president of the conference. So for the next year, President Argyris will also be Vice President Argyris, and the succession plan would put him in the president's seat the following year. So looking forward to that, and really congratulations to the community. It's a silly name, but it's a really important thing.
Thanks, John. And myself, just looking forward to having a good time, July 3rd. Please come out, folks, and look at the website, make a call to the airport, make a call here to Village Hall regarding parking or any information that you do need. I'd like to see everybody. It's a great community event where neighbors and friends could get together with your relatives from outside of our community and share a wonderful night with fireworks and kids and good entertainment and stuff in a safe environment. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. That's all I have. I entertain a motion to approve the bills for June 16th through June 22nd, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Kruger, second by trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes. We have no executive session. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Kruger, second by trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
President Argyris?
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes.